What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's Motorfest video, I do want to go over more ideas I think that would make this game even better. I guess you could even say in some ways it's probably going to be changes. Now the first one I do want to talk about is going to be a loadout type of idea. So we do know each car you have are going to have like set, part builds on them. You are also going to have different pro settings on each vehicle to, make them corner better, or at least have the option to make the car handle a bit better than how it would have been stock. That way you can run the vehicle in different summits and stuff like that. But the one thing I do admit, guys, what if we had a loadout type of thing here to where you could save them? Now, I would say something like this is probably going to be fairly similar to like a loadout in maybe Call of Duty, to where you can probably save a said loadout and pick that one for each event. So what if something like this was in Motorfest on the pro settings and the part builds on them? For example, a good way to say this is, let's say you have a set build on like the Ford Focus, but you did want to change it around for like a different event or something like that that maybe had more cornering or even something like more straightaways. So you then go in and maybe adjust the damper rebound in the front and maybe some ARBs in the rear. After that, you then wanted to save that said build for a different event. What if you could have like 4 or 5 loadouts on that said vehicle for each car as well, that you can then save the said build you are using for each event you are doing? Now, similar to Call of Duty, though, you're probably only going to have maybe 4 or 5, even maybe 6 options you can run. So what if each vehicle had, let's say, 4 options you can't have on it? So if you did want to have a set pro setting build on that, maybe you can attach one of your part builds to the vehicle. Like for that one build, you're going to want to have a chemist set on that one. And then for the other build, maybe you might want to add like a loot digger set to it. I would say something like this would honestly be really cool, but the only unfortunate thing I would say is it is probably going to be a bit too complicated. Like, don't get me wrong though, guys, I wouldn't say something like this would not end up working, but let's be honest here. Many players are most likely just going to want their pro settings for each vehicle. I would say for me, I do think having pro settings only is probably the best way. We do know getting like your gold part sets is a lot easier than before. You know, going to like exhaust and all that, like back and forth to each part. Adding like a chemist each one is honestly pretty annoying, but luckily we can now do that with a click of a button. So what do you guys think about having your pro settings in a loadout type of design, which would make it much easier? Now, the second thing I did want to include in this video, I would say is probably going to be a fairly requested feature pretty much since the Crew 2 before. That is going to be the rim selection and the rim colors in this game. Now, we do know right now there's not a lot of rims you can add to your vehicle, at least for the M2. There's normally going to be around, let's say, like 80 or so rims for most of the vehicles in this game. Now, many of them I wouldn't say are going to be awful. Like, I guess some of these look okay. But I would say the biggest issue right now with the rims, guys, without a doubt in my mind, is the color design. So for this right now, you're then going to notice that, yes, it's going to be a chromish type of color. If I move over, you're then going to notice, like, what is that? Like, what is that color? Like, what? It's like, bro, it's like a shadow realm. Like, what is that? Going down here is then going to make it almost like a brightish, like alloy type of chrome color. Moving over though, look at red. Like, look how bad this looks on this car. It's honestly terrible. So a lot of players might want to go, well, you know what, Block? Like, I really do want to add different rims to my vehicle, like different custom colors. I am then going to go, well, you are going to be in for a treat. My goodness, this looks terrible. It almost looks like a neon, like, underglow on a car or something. That looks awful. Like, I feel like many of these chrome type of colors are honestly terrible. Now, we can see in different games like Need for Speed, for example, they do have like real rims like BBS, or like even something like Vossen is also going to be available that you can throw on the vehicle and customize them, at least adding different colors or like different color schemes to it. I feel like having a design like that here in Motorfest would be amazing. We do know a lot of the rims in this game, most players probably don't even like them. For example, most of the people I do see driving around, it's very rare that I see anybody having rims that look like this. I would say, no one. Most people are probably going to be running like stock rims on the vehicles because they look better, and most people are probably not going to want to run, fluorescent blue light type of rims like that, or like imagine pink, like, oh my goodness, help me. Like, I really do feel like a lot of players are not going to be a big fan of this, guys. Like, look at that. It is honestly terrible. Now, I would say in some ways, some players might end up going, well, Block, you gotta enjoy the rims in the game for what they are. Like, don't be complaining about rims in a racing game or something. Like, go enjoy the vehicles and stuff like that and probably enjoy driving them. Like, don't get me wrong, I do hear you, but at the same time, I feel like we have to complain in some way. I do feel like complaining is most likely going to be the only way to get something changed or fixed. And that way, a lot of the devs might go, yeah, we probably need to change these rims, or like, even update the colors of the rims. That way they're not going to be a really ugly type of chrome finish. I would like to know what you guys think about both of these ideas, or like these changes in Motorfest and how they would do. I almost feel like everybody in this game, most likely 99% of the player base, would like the rims to be different.